welcome to Rich Halpin. Hello there.
Hello, guys. You all right?
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
So, Dubs of Rock is one that I have only just recently heard of, to be honest.
She's brand new.
Really? Tell us about it.
I work for a company called James Dean Events. We are primarily a tribute festival organizer. So I know you guys obviously know Bloodstock very well. On the same site as Bloodstock, about 3 weeks before, is the Derbyshire Sausage and Cider Festival. We've been doing that for 11 years. About 2 years ago, I was like saying, come on guys, we've got to get some metal on. Let's have some rock and metal on at that event. So I put like Blink-182 on, Green Haze, some Rage Against the Machine, a few others. And it was one in, one out all weekend. It was completely packed. People just couldn't get in there. So we looked at that and we're like, wow, there's definitely a demand for it. So we tried it at our own big show first, and then we realised, yeah, this probably could break away and be its own thing now. And so we had an available date at Cato's Farm in Leicester, which is very confusing that both sites have got almost the same name. You've got Catton Park and Cato's Farm.
Yes.
And we've had people go to the wrong site expecting to be at that one. But fortunately, they are only maybe 20 minutes drive away. So it's not too far of a divert. Yeah, so just based on that and, me pushing, saying we need a bit of rock, and it went down really well, sort of broken away and done a standalone rock and metal festival now in that tribute space. And yeah, this is its first year. And so far, honestly, like, it was a bit of a joke. Not a joke, but it was a bit of a punt. Like, let's see. But honestly, so far, the reaction's been very impressive. And it seems like there's a lot of people out there, certainly in my age group, sort of like 30 to 50s age group, that are just like, you know what, for 20 quid a day, I don't actually care. Like, I just want to listen to the songs that I know, bands that I like. I want there to be clean toilets, a decent bar. It's cheap as chips, and I can just go and have a laugh. You spend 10, 15 quid paying to get into Face Down in London or something watch a DJ for 3 or 4 hours. You're getting 20 bands for almost the same price for a day and camping. You know what I mean? So if you can get past the sort of the whole sort of, you're not supporting new music, it's tributes. If you can get past that and just say, look, it's a laugh, man. It's not damaging the scene. It's not here to stop any bands coming through. It's literally just like, it's like going to a disco, but there's bands there. You know what I mean? And you can camp and have a good time with your mates for as little as 20 quid a day. Yeah, that's it. That's the idea.
I mean, what's not to like about that? I think personally, I think it's great. I think cover festivals have certainly got their place on the market. Tribute festivals have certainly got their place on the market, and I've been to a couple previously. And they're a great laugh. They're good for your friends, your family. You can have a relaxed drink, listen to some music. Actually, there might be tribute bands that you've not seen the original act of before that actually think, actually, I like this. And you'll go out and kind of find the original artist anyway. So I think, this, and it's certainly a way of kind of pushing people towards rock and metal who might not want to take the plunge into paying 150 quid for a weekend somewhere.
Yeah.
To be able to pay a much lower day rate or weekend rate. I just give it, test the water, because I know a lot of people are scared of kind of the thought of going to a metal festival. Yeah,
definitely. And I think, with certainly in the local area, we are known as a family festival event. Most people know that it's us that are doing it. So the same principles apply, like, the free ticket for a child that's under 6. We try and keep everyone age 6 to 17 as cheap as possible as well. Trying to encourage basically people my age that have got kids now that, want to bring them along somewhere safe that isn't too big, because you don't want to take your 6-year-old. Well, some people do take their 6-year-old to download, but it's a hard slog, isn't it? Carrying a child almost 2 miles to an arena.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I mean, I've taken my stepdaughter to Bloodstock previously, which was a nice size.
Yeah, I mean, Bloodstock's a good size.
She coped with that. I wouldn't. I've got 3 girls. I wouldn't take any of them to download. My eldest's 11 now, and she's probably just getting to the age where she could cope with it. But I still think it'd be too big for her. So no, yeah, certainly that kind of small to medium sized festival with a lot more family orientated, nicer facilities, things like that, is more chilled out.
Yeah.
Is exactly what you need to transition the next generation into live music.
Yeah, definitely, man. And we're trying to, without saying it, I've been going to download for 20 years. I'm thinking about all the best stuff that I enjoy at download, and I'm trying to bring a bit of that in. So, we've got the 2 stages. I'm going to try really hard to program it. So you might miss 15 minutes of one band, get half an hour or 45 minutes of the other. You know what I mean? Like, I think of the pilot as the perfect example, when one finished the main stage and we were running between each one. It won't quite be that good, but you might shave 10 minutes off each one. So if you want to keep going all day, you could just bounce between the 2. We've got an outdoor main stage, which is, it's good for sort of 3,000-4,000 people. And then we're going to have a big top for stage 2, which again will be good for 2,000 or 3,000 people with late night after parties. I think the 900 are going to do the late night after party on the Friday with myself. Saturday night's going to be Chop Suey and myself, and then Sunday night I'm going to close it as well, DJing. So we'll keep it going till hopefully 1 a.m, maybe a bit later.
Nice.
Would you go as far as saying that this is the biggest tributes festival in the UK?
Only probably superseded by the Derbyshire Sausage Cider, which I do think is the biggest tribute festival that we possibly. It's certainly camping. I think it might be in there. So we get on a good year we can get 11,000 at Derby Sausage and Cider. And that typically was a 4-day camping festival. So I don't know anyone that has done that. Certainly not on my radar. I mean, there's tribute festivals everywhere, but I don't know if anyone quite breaks that 10,000 mark, which is surprising that, you could actually get 10,000 people to a tribute show. But this one, we're aiming for 5. We're hoping to do it on a license of 4,999. So that's where we're targeted for.
Yeah. I mean, you could have gone down the route of booking some of the actual bands. I mean, I guess you struggle with AC/DC and Metallica, but a lot of the bands who you might see at other contemporary festivals, you could have booked. So why are we going down the route of just tributes?
I think it's mass appeal. We probably could have afforded to have maybe, and this is no disrespect to any of those guys, we could have maybe got an In Me or someone on that level. But they're not going to bring 1,000 people with them, I don't think anyone's buying a ticket to this based on one band. I think they're looking at the flyer and seeing, I like that one, I like that one, I like that one. And by the time they got to the bottom of the flyer, they're like, okay, there's 19 bands there that I like out of 26. I think that's what the selling point is. For the majority of the weekend, I'm going to hear music I like. And I think that's where it's at. And, it's a year one conception. We can't really afford to take any big risks. We can't afford to get an Alien Ant Farm or someone of that level and gamble that's going to pull in the numbers you need. Otherwise, it'll be over as fast as it started. So we're just copying a model that we know that works, and the only difference is a change in music policy. We've had a successful show for 11 years doing the family Sausage and Cider, which is a bit more indie, pop and rock. And we know that model works. And so we're just going to change the music policy and keep the standards the same. You got the luxury glamping, you got the hot tubs, you got the showers, you got the nice toilets that are cleaned every day. The things that got us to the level with the previous show. It's just the music policy is, my CD collection now.
So booking this is very much a labour of love for you then.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Have you been able to find tributes for all of your favourite bands?
No, there are some that are just like non-existent. But I think the majority of them in there, it's when you get into the heavier stuff, like struggle to find a Lamb of God one. That was a struggle. But normally, yeah, when you get into the real heavy shit, then it gets a bit harder. And obviously, as things get more technically challenging, You're looking at real musicians then but I'm not saying these guys aren't real musicians, but like you're getting into some real heavy talent and it's like, well, they probably just have their own band anyway. I don't know. But yeah, for the most part, plus it can't all be for me. There's got to be, I'm not a big AC/DC fan, but you've got to throw that in there, because
you've got to know your audience, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Would you ever, if I'm hoping this is a massive success for you and the company this year, and would it be something you're looking to build on going forward into year 2 and year 3? Would you ever kind of consider kind of a smaller kind of new music stage for original artists?
Absolutely,
from the local area, maybe?
100%. I think that would be the natural progression. Obviously, we've got to make sure this one works. And then years 2 and 3, you would look at maybe certainly the second stage, maybe the first half of the day is new people, and then it moves more into Tribute E in the evening. I don't know. We don't know yet. We've just put all our money on red at the minute and span the roulette. So let's see what happens. But I'd look. My dream when I was 20 years ago was to work for Download Festival, and that hasn't come to fruition. But we'll make our own way. We'll make our own one.
So just to give out some names of some of the acts who'll be appearing over this weekend.
Yeah.
We've got Livewire. I love the way that they've sort of imitated the real logo of the band that they're actually tributing.
Yeah.
So Livewire, tribute to AC/DC. See, I don't want to have to. I don't think I have to tell you.
No,
who the tribute
I didn't
is
think
for.
that either. But my marketing head came on and was like, "We should put the little thing what it is underneath, just to be clear." But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, this next one is Mortalica.
Fantastic band, guy. They did Sausage and Cider for us a couple of years ago, and I was just like, "Oh man, they're really, really good." So they're probably my favourite on the lineup.
Okay. Next, you've got Hybrid Theory.
Yes.
Linkin Park tribute, which I can't wait to see.
On trend. I mean, it was lucky for us that was booked before the comeback. So we did a Bloodstock there with Gojira and like the Olympics. It just landed. Perfect timing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was saying High on Maiden.
Yeah.
Chop Suey.
Yeah, and apparently it's got a member of Breed 77 that is in that Chop Suey band. So there is a signed musician in that band.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Stiff Biscuit.
Mental.
Yeah. Pantera AD.
Yeah, I don't get that one so much.
No.
Was that
not for me, Pantera? So I'll be getting a beer.
I like Pantera. I'm not too. Maybe someone can point out the pun there, but I'm missing that pun.
Audio Rage.
Very good.
Is Rage Against the Machine and Audio Slave tribute.
Yeah, really good guys.
Looking forward to that one. Nirvana UK.
Yeah, and that's the really big one that reopened Brixton Academy.
Really?
After the closure. So they are like the best of the best.
Okay. Guns, Two Roses.
Yeah, they're really big. They're probably the best of the best as well. Socials are massive. They've got like 80,000 people on their page.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're not all British based, are they, these?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah. The Guns N' Roses British band, I'm pretty sure. I think they're on tour in America at the minute, though.
That's mad that you found all these tributes all in the UK. Foo Fighters GB.
Yeah, they're local lads, just literally 5 minutes from our office.
Oh, really? That's handy.
Yeah.
Machine Ed.
Yeah, I've not seen that one yet, but good name.
Yeah. Kill Switch UK.
There's a lot of UK ones, isn't there?
There is.
If you're struggling
UK.
For a pun, just put UK at the end.
Well, I mean, it's legally different to the original band's names. Different enough, but close enough so that you know what you're getting.
Exactly.
Ghost UK. Aranthrax.
Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce that one either, but I'm all up for some Anthrax. So.
Yeah.
We need a Slayer, because we're going to we've got another announcement to come in January, and I'm on the hunt for a Slayer, so at least we can say we've got the big four.
So this poster isn't the final poster?
It is not, no. There are about 6 more acts to announce, plus alternative entertainment. So we're going to have things going on during the day. Probably going to we use a wrestling company at our other show. We're probably going to bring them in and have live wrestling Saturday and Sunday. Again, bit download inspired, but it was good.
I mean, me and Neill are happy to have a wrestling match if you want.
Excellent. I'll take a chair shot. Yeah, it has to be Attitude Era. That's the rule.
Now, there's so many acts on here, and you've done really well in the booking. I'm just astonished at how little you're asking for ticket-wise for this. You look at other festivals, and we're talking hundreds of pounds for a 3-day camping weekend festival. Yeah. So, I mean, I hesitate to ask how have you done it? What are we missing out on?
We are fortunate, really. So our business has been trading for a long time, and any profits we've had, we've used to buy our own equipment, basically. So we own generators, we own toilets.
Wow.
We own fencing, and we've just reinvested any money we've had in basically anything you have to hire that costs thousands. There's still stuff we have to hire. We still have to hire external generators and stuff. We've only got 2, so we still need like another 6 on site. We still need more toilets. We still need the showers because they're like 15 grand to buy.
Oh wow!
But there's a proportion of equipment that we own, and the site is 20 minutes from our yard. So we can haul it there ourselves, so we don't have to spend £2,000 a time on, haulage goods, bringing stuff in and out. Yeah. And it's the only way we've been able to survive. We live very, as far as festival companies go, we do live very hand to mouth here. Being a fully independent festival company with no sponsorships, no anything else. You know what I mean? It's a bread and butter team of about 6 people that just want to work in events and just live it 24/7. You know what I mean? So
it's the dream job, really.
It was one of the 3. Yeah, I had 3 things. I wanted to be in a metal band, but I wasn't good enough. I wanted to be a pro skater, but again, wasn't good enough. Or I wanted to work in festival industry. So
wow, I think that's decent. That's really good. That's an achievement.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to work for Download originally, but then I realised that it's not Download, is it? It's actually like Live Nation and a PR company, and there's multiple things. Download's just a brand, There isn't actually someone that works in an office called Download. Yeah, but that's what you don't realise as a child.
Yeah,
it's amazing by having parts of your own infrastructure belonging to your company, and it just goes to show how much it costs. Forget the talent that are performing, the infrastructure costs alone. I know we can run into the tens of thousands quite easily.
Oh yeah, even owning our own stuff, it's not going to be cheap to put on. Staff is the biggest issue. Well, it's not an issue, but it's the biggest cost. Yeah, security staff. You think about, obviously there's going to be mosh pits and crowd surfing and stuff at this. This is something none of our security guys have ever dealt with before. So we're going to have to go and find more specialised people that are used to the idea of pulling people out of crowds and stuff, and have a full... Normally we'd have 2 or 3 people at the front of a stage, mainly just for when someone gets a bit hot or a kid's lost or something like that. Now I'm going to need 20 blokes, big guys, pulling people off from crowd surfing. So that's a new dynamic that our security team won't be used to.
Pit crews aren't cheap, are they?
No, they're not, and they're quite specialised. So that's a big expense for this. Yeah, and we're just sort of hoping, if we can break even in year 1 and not lose any money, we'll call that a success. That's the goal.
Yeah, there's so many aspects to putting on a festival that I guess you have to encounter to get to putting it on. Crowd management is something that I used to do. I used to pull people out of the pits. And it's...
Fancy volunteering for a day?
I mean, if we're going down that route, I've done my crowd planning stuff with the Home Office, the Emergency Planning College. I'm qualified in that. There we go. Forget the rest of Neill. We're going to run the pit.
I know. Oh my God. Well, yeah. I was a lot thinner in those days, and and newly qualified. So I don't know about doing it nowadays. But I can talk about it.
It must be pretty terrifying when you hear the singer like, "Everyone crowd surf now," and you're like, "Oh my God, the wave of just people pouring."
Yeah. You can't tell me that you've worked a pit until you've done a Slipknot gig. That is
Where was
something
that?
else. That was a download.
Wow, what year?
In 2013.
Okay.
It was crazy. It was. I don't know how many people I pulled out the pit. It was probably 100 plus.
It's hard to determine as well, isn't it? Like 50% of them are doing it because they want to, and another 50% are doing it because they can't stand the heat and the crowd, and they just need out, and it's the fastest way out.
The crushing as well, you know, the forward
Surges.
surge.
Yeah,
It's it is frightening from our perspective as well, because you know you've got to work fast.
You sort of like stood at the front of a battle line. You got 100,000 people screaming at you, and you're like, "Wow, this is intense." I mean, I've not done it, but obviously I've been down the front of the stage, you know, for like media reasons and stuff like that. And you're like, whoa, you know, it's an intensity to it.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't do it again anymore. You know, I think I'm well past that sort of stage of doing things. But it is absolutely it's a skill. It's a skill because you're looking out for things as well. You know, you're looking at the crowd as much as you might want to turn and look at the act. You've got to watch the crowd. That's what you're there for.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get that many. Based on sort of the demographic data we're getting at the minute, most people are 30 plus, so I don't imagine it being a huge crowd surfing moment.
No.
But there's going to be a few, and we've got to get the right people that know how to respond to that.
To me, it seems like a very sort of aimed at a family sort of atmosphere, and you know, an older sort of. I mean, if you're looking at even a sort of Bloodstock type demographic.
Yeah.
Which is in the older age range. You know, I don't think I've ever seen any crowd control issues at Bloodstock before. No. So
mainly, I think we lean more towards circle pits now than walls of death because they're a bit more like, just push into each other a bit and then it all stops, you know. But we have got a Lamb of God, so hopefully, you know, they might split the crowd.
Well, you said you went to the download pilot.
Yeah, I've been to. I think I've only ever missed 3 downloads in 21 years now. Are we on?
Now, at the pilot, I love the pilot.
Yeah.
And I love the idea that you've copied of having a tent and an outdoor main stage, which they did at the pilot.
Yeah.
I think it's a cracking idea. And you make me think of the entertainment that they had, which was at night time. They had a silent disco.
Yeah.
When I don't think I've ever been more drunk and never had such a good time at download, to be really honest. When was it? It was a few years ago now, wasn't it? 2021?
2020. Yeah, it was straight off the back of COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was wicked, man. That after party was there every night, man. It was great.
How important is the, sort of after entertainment to a festival?
I think it's massive. I remember, you know, there were years at Download where like religiously you just have to watch the headliner. That was it. I'm a young lad. I've got to watch the headliner. And I remember getting into my 20s and I was like, you know what, I've seen Slipknot like 6 times now. I think I have more fun in the doghouse chatting to people and just, you know, being and start, you know, my opinions changed and the after party became the big thing for me. I think it's really important, man. I think it's a good way to unwind. I like that we're mixing it up with DJ sets and bands rather than just solid DJ sets. So I think it really helps sell tickets, and it's not, you know, it's a fairly inexpensive thing to do, especially if we shut down the main stage and move everyone into the tent. You know, it's not a major cost, and if I'm playing for free, you know, it's just, and it's good because I'm playing. Because if no one goes, then I can just say turn it off. Don't feel obliged to stay playing to no one. We'll just say turn it off.
There is also, because we're calling it Dubs of Rock, and I have noticed 1 or 2 Volkswagens.
Yeah.
In your
Yeah, so
your promotional material.
Yeah, so obviously the original concept was, we know a lady called Natalie who runs Dubs in the Middle, which is in Worcester, and it's a big. I think she gets about 3,000 to 4,000 people that go, and it's all about VW camper clubs, and they come from all around the country, and they meet and they have this festival together.
The car enthusiasts.
Yeah, car enthusiasts basically. Yeah, and they do it, and they go around in big groups, and they pick their festivals, and so we were like, she said, there's no market for that kind of thing, and we were thinking about doing this anyway, and we were going to put it under the Hardwired brand, and we were just like, well, should we try mixing it in with the Dubs one instead? Because it kind of comes with a ready-built audience, so we could maybe get 200 or 300 people in before we even started, because they just want to come for that community experience. So we sort of just gelled the two together, and Dubs of Rock was kind of born off that.
Cool.
So it is very VW friendly. We could do. Going to have a private VW camping area. I think
Really?
Yeah. And then there'll be a VW camping show. Show and Shine, I think it's called. So on the Saturday, they'll bring all their Dub cars into the main arena. There'll be like an open competition where we judge like who's got the best paint job, who's got the best custom modifications, and they can win awards. And we were just looking at what awards we were going to do today, actually, and we're going to get skateboards decks, and it will say like what category they've won on the bottom of the skateboard deck.
Nice.
And that's like rather than a boring little trophy, we're going to do like blank skateboard decks for the winners.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's loads going on.
Yeah. It's kind of one of them, like, yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about everything that's in my head and the team's head, you know what I mean? But it will be there's a lot going on.
Can we talk to you about merch?
Yeah.
Now we have, because me and Rich Holmes, who's there in North Wales, we're not 20 years old anymore.
Yeah.
And we haven't often seen the inside of a gym. So we're sort of larger gentlemen, and one of our bugbears is going to the merch stall, and finding that all the big sizes have sold out first.
Yeah.
So whilst we acknowledge there are rockers of our sort of age who have managed to maintain a healthy waistline, and can get access to all the merch they want, of their size. There are bigger sizes, and I think this, as you get past 40 and towards 50, there are gentlemen who might be looking for a 2XL, a 3XL, a 4XL, a 5XL.
Yeah. I say this is a lesson we've already learned, because we run the Back 2 festival, which is like an 80s 90s reunion sort of thing, and the first year we did merch there, I put the order in. I got like loads of smalls, mediums, and came home with so many smalls and mediums, and just loads of people walking away from the store because we didn't have the size. So I think we held on to that stock for about 3 years before we ended up just chucking it out into the crowd. You know what I mean? Like we just couldn't get rid of it. Wow. So it is a lesson that we have learned, and yeah, larger sizes will be available. But I don't think we really thought about would you buy a T-shirt that's got a load of tribute bands on the back?
I don't know. I mean,
yeah. I went to a gig last month, the month before, to a tribute act, and I bought one of their T-shirts.
Did you pay tribute act t-shirts. Prices for it, or is it main?
What the headline price on it was 25 quid, I think it was.
Yeah, a hoodie or a T-shirt?
T-shirt.
I don't know.
And they were doing quite a good business as well.
Yeah.
In Wales, in the middle of nowhere.
I quite like the Dubs of Rock branding. The logo and stuff. That would look nice on a T-shirt. But I don't think we've really sat down and thought about monopolising the merch stall just yet. More just let's just put the show on, man, and let's get people in. The music policy will be good. You will have a good time. I think that's where we are at the minute with sort of promotion and what we're thinking about the show. I think we are selling it probably too cheap, but I'd rather hit the numbers and have all those 3,000-4,000 people leave and go, yeah, that was amazing, and go and tell 10,000 people how good it was, and then maybe we can look at how much we charge for it in years to come.
I mean, it's a good way of building that kind of hardcore audience, isn't it? But also as well, with having your headline price so low, especially in year one, your secondary spend on the bars is going to be a lot more, I'd say, because hopefully. I know certainly things like download. Although we've done a lot of work with press, download and bloodstock and stuff. We don't, we're there working, so we don't tend to spend as much on alcohol anymore. But we might have an afternoon off or whatever, and go for it. But like when you're paying for download, and we've done RIP in Park Farm at download, and you're spending £700 per person. It becomes a very expensive weekend. And I probably drink less than I used to because of the price of it now. So for me, if I was looking at that, paying incredibly reasonable prices, I'd want to be spending more at the bars.
Yeah, I'd encourage that.
Absolutely. Responsibly, of course. But,
responsible drinking. But yeah, that's it, isn't it? The entry gate fee hasn't completely destroyed your wallet, so you can drink and enjoy yourself and maybe treat yourself to some food and whatever. You don't need to ration, and that annoys me about bigger festival. Well, it doesn't anymore, but when I was younger, the needing to go back to your tent to drink, to get yourself where you want to be, to enjoy yourself, but losing 3 hours out of the arena. Yeah, that was an annoyance that didn't last long when I was younger. And then I realised, God, you got to save up, man. These are just fun tokens, and so you just got to go with a wad of cash. And if you want to have fun, you got to spend the fun tokens,
Yeah. I mean, in terms of policies for the campsites and stuff, are you on a similar sort of line as what Bloodstock would be? Bearing in mind you're on the same site, and it's
not the same site as Bloodstock.
Oh, beg your pardon. Sorry,
that one up. Yeah, so it's Cat and Park is where we do the Sausage and Cider Festival.
Beg your pardon.
And Cato's Farm is Dubs of Rock.
Important reminder for everybody there.
One's Derbyshire, one's Leicestershire.
They are very close.
Right next to each other, yeah. Yeah, so, the drinks policy might seem a little tight, I guess. So we're on 18 cans per person for the weekend, which is, I think, downloads at 24 cans now. So
you've got to have a policy, though.
We're 6 cans lighter than download, but we're a fraction of the price. So
exactly, it swings and roundabouts. You're not paying over the odds to get in, and you've got decent camping facilities for 3 days. It's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah.
I just think that the more spare cash you've got whilst you're there, you're more willing to spend it if you haven't had to pay hundreds to get in.
Yeah, and it's not like it's not a trap, we're not like putting this cheap gate on and when you arrive every drink's 25 quid. You're not just walked into Amnesia in Ibiza and you're about to spend 19 quid on a bottle of water.
Yeah.
It'll be competitive on site as well, but there is that alcohol limit, and it comes down to licensing as well. Licensing officers are much more nicer with you if you've got a limit. If there's no limit and you're like, oh, they can bring as much as they want, they do get a little scared about that at times, and it makes your medical more expensive, it makes your security bill more expensive. So there's other reasons people would put a limitation on alcohol other than just they want to sell you their beer.
So for anybody looking to buy tickets, let's look at the different tiers of tickets that are available for Dubs of Rock. There are a few. You've got some VIP options as well as just standard tickets, haven't you?
Yeah, so we have a big stretch tent with a private bar in there, some nice porcelain toilets and sinks to get you away from the old Portaloos.
Oh, yes.
It's got like rattan furniture in there and it's more of like a chill out zone. I think it's only an extra 40 quid, and you break that across the 3 days. What's that? Like £13.33 recurring or something to go in the VIP area.
It's worth it for the decent shite, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, right. When you got to go. Yeah, it's worth it. I don't think the bars will be, we got a solid bar crew and queue time's never something we've really struggled with. You know, like the guys are really good at keeping the queues down. But if you are VIP, you got that private bar. You're just going to walk straight in and get a drink.
You've also got options for people to come with a caravan or motorhome. You've got day tickets without camping.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday only. Friday will be exclusive for campers.
You've got separate child tickets at a reduced rate. You've got the general Volkswagen camper van pitch, which people have to pay to get in separately.
Yeah, so it gets a bit confusing here, I guess. This is where the VW bit gets a bit confusing. Like I say, these VW clubs, like say everybody that lives in Swindon that's got a VW go as a group from Swindon, but they all want to be camped together.
Sure.
So they need to buy the ticket that says VW Swindon on it. So when they arrive, our guys know, right, these all go together.
Yeah, in their allocated sort of area.
Yeah. If you just arrive without that, you just get the next bay. And then people start moaning, going, oh, I want to be with my mate John. So they need to sort of buy that ticket to identify themselves so they are parked together on the day.
It's good for you for planning as well, isn't it? You know how much space you'll need for stuff.
Exactly that. And where the fire lanes are and all that fun stuff. But obviously some people are looking on the site that have they're not even VW people. They're just looking for a weekend ticket, and they're looking at all that stuff going, what's all that about? Singles and mingles and all this stuff. do I want to book in that one?
Great. Okay. So and it's called, of course, it's being held in August, so we're hoping
bank holiday.
Yeah, some sunny weather.
Yeah. But if not, stage 2 is undercover. So there we go.
Great. Well, I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to be there. So look out for Festpod. We shall be wandering around, taking in the atmosphere and reporting back, basically, and telling you what it's like.
Yeah.
So that will be the 22nd to the 24th of August, 2025, and it is Cato's Farm in Leicestershire.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So
not to be confused with Catton Park in Derbyshire, but someone will do it. I can guarantee it.
Probably Neill.
Hopefully my little trip up earlier will stick in people's mind and they'll think, it's not that place. It's not that place. It's Cato's Farm.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. So we're leaving that in. Okay, well, thanks, Rich Halpin, for joining us today on Festpod.
No worries.